Hey, it looks like we have a good number on. Thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Teresa Putzier. I am a strategic partner manager with Celigo, and I am joined with my colleague Jean Carbone, Director of Strategic Solutions, and our partner FMT Consultants. Steve Brown's a solution architect with FMT, and Kelvin Elder is a senior account executive. Both Jean and Steve are going to give us a demo today, and Kelvin and I are here to support you throughout this webinar. So today's topic is how to perfect your e-commerce process by automating your supply chain with integration. We are going to share how to leverage API integration and ERP automation to scale your home furnishing business into new channels at efficient and scalable speeds. For demo purposes, we are going to use Wayfair as a marketplace and NetSuite as an ERP. A couple of housekeeping items. If anyone has questions, please put them in the question pane. We will have time for questions following the webinar, and also we will share a recording to all of those who registered. Okay, a little bit of background about Celigo. Celigo is a full iPaaS solution. iPaaS stands for Integration Platform as a Service. Essentially, we can integrate any cloud application to any cloud application. A couple of benefits of Celigo's iPaaS platform is we are a modern iPaaS platform. We're designed for companies who want to scale their integrations. Also, we're designed for a business technical user to do integrations, as well as for companies who want the option to own their own integrations. And this will be all pointed out in our demo today. Celigo, we are headquartered in San Mateo, California. We have 6,000 clients, a nice example over here on the right of some of them. In addition to, we have 650 employees. We're headquartered in San Mateo, California, but we are a true global company. Nominated by our users, the G2 users is the top iPaaS platform of 2021. And it's always really nice to have our industry analysts give us a shout out at 4.9 stars out of 5. Lastly, I want to point out this number right here, 12 billion records processed each month. That number is growing 30 to 40% month over month. And why I point that out is Celigo's iPaaS platform Integrator IO is designed to handle very large amounts of data. And with that, I will hand it over to Kelvin to introduce FMT.
Perfect. Thank you, Teresa. So we are FMT Consultants. We're a great partner of Celigo and also a great partner of Wayfair. As you can see on the slide below, our timeline starts in '95, where we were initially a Microsoft Great Plains consulting shop. Since then, or how I like to phrase it at least, we have become a one-stop shop for business applications and IT. What that translates for you all is if you come to FMT for kind of general needs, chances are we have the ability to help you. And we do that by having multiple scalable solutions to address every business function. So whether it's anything from the Microsoft stack to CRM and SharePoint and cloud hosting in Azure, all the way through competing CRM practices, for example, with our Salesforce.com practice or our Oracle NetSuite practice and ERP. The point is we're tailoring multiple options for your IT and business units to evaluate so you can feel comfortable making the right choice. That ultimately led us to our partnership with Wayfair, which has been going for about 4.5 years now. In those 4.5 years, we've consulted over 200 Wayfair suppliers to date on helping them basically become more effective and efficient distributors or manufacturers or wholesalers, whatever their specific business operation model is. In part of that, we've gained knowledge and expertise. And if you go to the next slide, I think we'll get a little bit deeper into why FMT for Wayfair suppliers. This reiterates our what we call the FMT wheel, right? And understanding that there are multiple aspects to helping your business grow as it pertains to business applications. So it's not always going to be just an ERP solution that helps your business effectively, but maybe it's CRM, or maybe it's business intelligence for advanced reporting. Maybe you're just worried about ransomware and security, right? We have an IT practice, or maybe you want to integrate everything, which is where we're kind of coming in today so that we could kind of evangelize how automating your tech stack, let's call it, will help your e-commerce business grow. And integration is usually at the core of that. So we are supplier centric. We are vertically focused, as you can see. We offer a broad variety of solutions, and our goal is to make sure those are all connected so that you are operating, again, as efficient as possible. Next slide. Again, over the years partnering with Wayfair, we've come up with, I call it a short list of common supplier issues that you're likely to come across for those people that have disparate systems or that aren't fully integrated and automated as maybe they see fit. Some of those are listed here: lack of real-time inventory visibility, delayed lead times. I'm sure everybody can complain about order cancellations or not being able to pass through the ship notice. The point is, your partners, your trading partners, are asking you to do more and do better with your operation so that they can sell more of your product. I think that's the ultimate goal here, and that's where we help. So these are just a few of these supplier issues, and if you hit next, you'll see that all of these supplier issues, feel free to take a look now or after, all of these supplier issues have come up with us in the past. This list grows, I would say, weekly almost, and these are just a few, but our tailored solutions and offerings and industry expertise have actively affected and changed for the better with our clients, each and every one of these bullet points. So again, you can follow up with this a little bit later, but for now, just take a quick peek. Okay, and I threw this slide in here because, again, as part of our partnership with Wayfair, we've understood what they care about specifically, right? Wayfair wants your in-stock rate. They want to know your fill rate. These are things that they're actually tracking to measure your success. Your other trading partners, your Overstocks, your Amazons, your Walmarts, they're all tracking similar statistics on their end. And then they're going to see how effective of a partner you can be for them, right? Just as much as you want them to move some of your product, they also want you to help them do that. So these are things that we actively address, and with our partnerships in these e-commerce companies, and in specific Wayfair here, we've grown the IP over the years, and again, the industry expertise to address each and every one of these. So we will demo some short points on how to get there. There's obviously numerous ways to become more efficient in your business operations, but in today's demos, you will see just a little sneak peek kind of on how we address these items specifically. And on that note, I will kick it over to Gene, who will start on the Celigo side of the demonstration.
Okay, all, I hope you can hear me. So we're going to start off today talking about Mary. Mary is a typical user on Wayfair, on the Wayfair platform. And so Mary is looking for a bed frame, right? So she figures out what she wants. She heads over to wayfair.com, browses her available choices, and finds that match. But how did it get there? How are companies managing their product inventories on these various platforms? Now, most that start out relatively small, can get by managing everything manually, including updating product info and pricing and inventory. But as you grow and as you start to reach those points where you are starting to figure out how to scale, it can be really hard to do that on on a larger basis. And so doing this can cause inventory inaccuracies, which of course leads to delayed and potentially missed orders. And so ideally, when you're scaling an organization like this, you really want your ERP system or your product information management system to really be pushing this data out into the various marketplaces and storefronts, instead of having to manually maintain consistency across all products, across all categories, across all stores. But first, let's get back to Mary. So now Mary finds her bed and she adds that item into her cart, gives you the payment information, and completes her order. Wonderful, right? But now, how do we process that order? So again, as you're starting up as a supplier, it's possible to manage this order and all the other orders like it manually, but managing this becomes even more quickly painful as you're trying to scale this, because now you're managing multiple orders coming through on multiple platforms where inventory isn't synced, and there's the real potential for potentially missing out and doing processing delays and back orders and things like that, because there's no centralized view of all your orders. There's no way to manage inventory across all of your channels, right? And so you could potentially try to do that by increasing your headcount to make to coordinate all of that. But even that over time becomes extremely difficult to scale. And so again, what you want is that single source of truth for all of your order information coming in from all the various platforms, right, into a single place, so that can be managed. Centrally. And so this might be a quick diagram of where you are today, potentially, right? Where you have maybe obviously you have Wayfair, but maybe you have one or two additional channels coming through. And what we can do is we can using Celigo, we can integrate Wayfair into whatever your backend system of choice is, whether that's NetSuite, Acumatica, SAP by Design, or countless others. We can take the information and synchronize both product information to Wayfair and order information coming back into your ERP quickly and easily, right? And so we can do that even at this scale here, where we're only talking about maybe one, maybe two channels. But as your organization grows, as your company scales, your process is going to get more and more complex, so that you'll add more and more marketplaces, and then potentially adding all of these other things around you. And just take a look at some of these here. You might need to add additional payment processors. You might need to coordinate with human resources, customer service. You may want to start working with some of the organizations that are looking to transact business with you via other methods like EDI. And then, of course, at some point you may mature into needing a relationship with a 3PL to outsource all of your logistics. Right, so all of this, managing all of the integration, all the information that has to pass through all of these various systems requires an integration platform. And so with that, right, that is what we do, right? So our integration platform is called Integrator.io. We are an iPaaS. So we integrate and automate processes across applications using a simple editor that's geared towards a business user. And we make it easy to configure these integrations using hundreds of pre-built connectors that come out of the box, with many templates to be able to get started very quickly. And we are 100% cloud-based, so everything happens in the cloud. There's no infrastructure for you to manage. Everything is done, all of the brains of the operation, so to speak, are in the cloud, and we manage all of that. So really the concept of an iPaaS may be new to some of you. And so right, an iPaaS really just means an integration platform that lives in the cloud that's really good at making it easy to configure integrations between various systems. And so when we look at the kind of offerings that we provide, I like to break it up into 3 different sections. The first is our core iPaaS platform, which can literally integrate any business application. And I realize we're talking about a supplier relationship today, but whether your business case is your 3PL integration, or you're looking to automate your HR onboarding process, or you're looking to get started with a data warehousing strategy, our iPaaS can help you with all of those types of business cases. So that's really what our iPaaS does. But then we have templates and what we consider integration apps that help you to automate and optimize your business processes. And really, right, so a template allows you to get started really quickly on building out the integrations you need. And the integration apps are actually pre-built applications out of the box that already do some very prescriptive common tasks across an e-commerce business. And then finally, the ability to accelerate digital transformations, and these really come about in our business process automations. Our business process automations, I'll use the data warehousing business process automation for one, where you select the data warehouse that you're interested in. You then select the applications that you want to connect to your data warehouse, and our platform automatically configures how to start receiving data into that data warehouse with just a few clicks. So to see a little bit more, let's go ahead and take a look at a very high level what a solution for a Wayfair to supplier integration could look like. So what we're looking at here, and of course I let this idle a little too long, but that's fine. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at the main screen of Integrator IO, and I'm going to click into this integration tile. This integration tile contains everything I need for my Wayfair to, in this case, NetSuite implementation, to be able to pass the relevant data back and forth. So I'm going to go ahead and click in here, and we'll take a look at some of the processes and what those look like, right? So importing orders from Wayfair to NetSuite, exporting order acknowledgements from NetSuite to Wayfair, exporting shipment confirmations from NetSuite to Wayfair, and then exporting inventory from NetSuite, and then a true up from NetSuite to Wayfair. So all of these business processes are configured in this one process, and we can take a look at what it looks like for just at a very high level what that what that looks like here. And so what I'm looking at is being able to extract the Wayfair purchase orders, right? And then going through and figuring out whether or not it's a new customer or not, and to create one, and then to import the sales order into NetSuite once that customer has been created. And so we can take a look at a very high level as to what it looks like to configure some of these. And for here, I'm going to take a very quick moment to look at our data mappings. And so in our data mapping, we have a very simple way to take the fields that are coming in from Wayfair and import those fields into the necessary fields into NetSuite. And so this becomes very simple, where I can simply select a drop-down from a drop-down list of what items to select as my destination in NetSuite. I have the ability to do some complex transformations directly at the field level here. So if I need to make decisions based on maybe what channel it's coming from as to how to populate NetSuite, I have that kind of control here as well. So with that, right, the ability to start it, right, you can simply select select the ability to execute this process or execute this flow, put it on a schedule, tell you how often it needs, telling it how often it needs to run. And once it does run, it will continue to run consistently, on that frequent basis to make sure that you're getting a consistent flow of orders as they're flowing into your channels. And so once the data comes from Wayfair and goes into NetSuite, right, what I'm going to do now is turn this over to FMT and my fine feathered friend Steve, and show exactly what happens once that data is brought into the backend system.
Thank you, Gene. Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Brown. I'm a solution consultant with NetSuite's FMT partner, and I am glad to be showing my screen, I believe. I am going to quickly set this up, and really, we've been talking about using enabling technology to streamline and automate the fulfillment process, the order to cash process, and is kind of a high-level flyover at this point. You've seen Celigo, which is the integration platform, and which is the glue that holds everything together. And what do you mean everything? Well, we've got orders coming in from Wayfair and e-commerce channels. These are going to arrive via EDI and API. So it's kind of pick your favorite flavor, and that's where Celigo adds value to get these orders in magically into your ERP system for turnaround and fulfillment. And this is a key enabling technology in addition to the NetSuite side, where we can with supply allocation strategies and WMS, warehouse management, we can drive a low-touch, frictionless automation across your processes. And so, all of this is to gain more speed, more accuracy, more reliability, and scalability, so that you can grow your business on your all of your different channels. So let's talk about supply allocation. What is it? It's the process of matching your supply with your demand, and certainly in times like these, we have seen shortages and the need for allocation strategies. I mean, you can invest in lots and lots of inventory and always have lots and lots of inventory on hand and available, but then your CFO is going to complain that it's very hard to make a profit when you're not trying to run leaner. So how can we minimize what's on hand and also increase the ability to fulfill these orders? And this allocation strategy is a functionality that NetSuite has that lets you look past current inventory. So yeah, you've always got current inventory that's allocated to your sales orders, but what about future inventory? What about your purchase orders that are out there, the purchase orders that are coming, even those purchase orders wrapped up in an inbound shipment, looking at transfer and work orders. And then this adds a new field called the supply required by date, and to be able to order your allocations by those dates, and to talk about, available quantity versus complete quantity, ship complete, to the ability to incorporate lead time, and the ability to have firm and reserved allocations. So if it's firm, then the system can't override it, although you could manually override it. So this is the process here. You can also actually use allocation processing options that will maximize your fill rate. So, just give me the highest number of fulfilled sales order lines, or maximize my gross profit or revenue. So, that kind of smart allocation, it's what you're doing already, but it's happening manually. And so this is enabling technology to help you get those things done automatically, behind the scenes. And so here's a picture of some of the items. There's the black flat iron bed frame that Mary was going after, and you can see with precision what you have on hand in San Francisco. And this supply allocations fill rate screen shows you a saved search that's bringing up this iron bed frame in San Francisco and saying, for this sales order to Mary Mobility, where she's ordering 3 of them, we have allocated all 3 based on this as soon as available order strategy. And it's going to be a day late, but now I have visibility into when it's going to ship, et cetera, et cetera. So giving you the ability to see what's happening and control what's happening is very important control knobs to add to your process here. And so let me go ahead and jump into the system and show you that real quick. So here I am signed into NetSuite. I am signed in as Matt, the supply chain manager, but you can see a bunch of different roles that I could take on. NetSuite is highly role driven. And so the roles are going to drive what the dashboard looks like. So this is a purpose-built dashboard for the supply chain manager. So you can see key performance indicators at the top that are available to you on day one. You didn't have to build these. These come available with NetSuite out of the box on day one with the Suite Success implementation. So FMT can help you get up and running and live and looking at a screen like this if you're the supply chain manager. And you see the KPIs are oriented towards a supply chain fulfillment type. So I've got on-time shipments this quarter versus the last rolling quarter. So I'm always given context as to what does this 814 mean? Well, it means my on-time shipments are down 8% from the previous period. So context lets you add meaning to these numbers and drive out meaningful information so that you can make management decisions about your business from that. The shortcuts on the left side show me that I may want to manage my sales channels. You can see my sales channels. I've got OEM, online sales, and wholesale, and these are going to drive my order priority. So the order priority will drive allocations, and so you can see that the order priority of wholesale is in 3rd place, although online sales is in 2nd place. I'm saying yes, I can only use a dedicated order reservations for that. So these are, again, control knobs that you can control when the system automatically allocates for you. And we looked at the order strategies. I've got half a dozen out here that are, well, closer to a dozen. The standard delivered comes with the system predefined, can be added to. And as you can see, each one of these can be slightly different. So as soon as available, I want you to, yes, commit my future inventory and available quantities, and don't worry about shipping complete, et cetera, et cetera. And this is going to be a firm allocation, so the system won't be able to override it. So these strategies can be defaulted in from your customer records, and they'll live at the sales order line level. So, you know, again, I'm giving just kind of a flyover as to what your allocation process can be like, given that this technology is in place. So here I'm clicking on allocate orders, and I'm looking at, you know, all of the San Francisco warehouse inside of the US subsidiary. I'm looking at online, my online sales channels, and here's all the orders that are out there, and I can allocate from there. And so this is a management dashboard, and you can see the ability to reallocate, and you know, it's showing me the sales order lines and the units and how many have been allocated and how many are still pending. So that kind of visibility is something that most of the folks we talk about that are suppliers for Wayfair and others are having to do with, you know, big cheap notebook paper and pens and either that or Excel, you know, Excel spreadsheets. And so as I scroll down through here, you can see I've got visibility into my items. So here's 3 items for Wayfair: my amazing futon, my flat iron bed, and my Ralph Lauren rug. And I can see what's on hand, what's on order, what's coming in with pretty good precision. And you can see my supply allocation item fill rate. So I'm on the black flat iron bed in San Francisco, and I can see these sales orders for that particular item and what priority they were based on the channel that they came in on and what's been allocated so far. And if I look at this line for Mary Mobility, Mary Mobility here, and this line right here, you can see that I've got 3 allocated and 3 ordered and 3 allocated. And as I scroll down, you can see, well, that's allocated on this purchase order 3757. So that sales order is going to be fulfilled with this PO, and this purchase order is drillable. I can drill right down to it. I can see, yep, this purchase order is coming in from Core 4, and it is it's ordered on the 3rd. I don't have a received by date. I should have put that in there, but the allocated demand is already spoken for. So don't try to sell this elsewhere. It's already allocated to this sales order 1583. So that is the kind of, and of course you can, if that's a firm order, you could change it and override it. But if it's just a reservation, you can the system could override it. But the idea is to have the system do a lot of heavy lifting so that your team can respond just to the exceptions, management by exception. And you know, that's how you grow and scale your business and without having to hire one-for-one people to cover this. And let's see, what else did I want to show you on this? I think that's about it on the supply allocation. The other key enabling technology would be your WMS, warehouse management solution. And let me go ahead and kick this into gear. You know, what is it, WMS? It really extends the inventory management and warehouse management features of NetSuite out to your RF handheld devices, and it makes them both faster and more accurate because you're not keying things in. You're point, click, and scanning, and so it serves the goal of making things better, faster, smoother, and more accurate. So and WMS of course can guide you through these standard warehouse processing tasks such as receiving and put away and picking and shipping, and saving time and handling considerably. So here's a hit list of all of the feature function summary for the NetSuite WMS, and we won't drain this out, but you can see that you can receive purchase orders, transfer orders, even RMAs coming back in. Those can be received now with handheld device, and making that again smoother and faster. You can also do cycle counting, so no longer having to print sheets out and then tally those back into the system. You can actually use the system to drive this capability. And of course, on the outbound side, you can use this for picking, packing, and shipping. So we can even create waves so that you can intelligently walk the warehouse without going all the way to the end, coming back, going all the way back to the end and coming back. This is designed to let you pick from strategies of ABC on your items, but also on your warehouse zones. So a big part of this will be the configuration to set these up and define your locations and your warehouse zones, your bins, your preferred bins, etc. And then the items in groups, family items in groups, and the ABC velocity, so that you can design these put and pick strategies based on rules that respect those items. So, a for instance is that if you have items that are going to have to get into a locked cage, they just will naturally go there. There's the mobile device recommendations. We can send that to you, basic items there, and so that is just the setup for that. I will now transition back over into the system and show you a couple of items in the warehouse management role. So if I sign in now as a warehouse manager, you can see that the look and feel of the solution is slightly different. Now I'm in the fulfillment role, and you can see that I've got let's see, I've got in these reminders portal, I've got 8 purchase orders to receive today, and you can see the purchase order 3708 right here. If I click on that, you can drill in and see that this is for a Wayfair Ralph Lauren rug, and I've got 10 I ordered, and I've received 6. I've got 4 promised, and so I still have some more to receive, and so I can go back out here and show you very quickly what that looks like in the mobile screen. So if I just click on this mobile screen, this is going to be an emulator for what the warehouse manager warehouse personnel would see on their handheld. I can click on WMS to go straight into the WMS processes. I can pick my warehouse. I'm in San Francisco. I can go into receiving, and this is where am I going to put away? Am I going to do a transfer? Am I bringing in an inbound shipment? No, I'm going to do a purchase order receipt, and from right here I can either go from a list, or I can just type in 3708. Now, of course, I wouldn't be typing in. Typically, that is going to be scanned, so I can point, click, scan, and brings in this. I can see I've got this Ralph Lauren rug. I've received 6. I got 4 remaining, and I've got the item description, etc. So I can click, and again, that's scan. I can see, well, how many do you have? Enter the quantity, and you can make that blind if you want, so that they have to actually count them. And you say, yep, I've got it. And it says, well, what bin are you? I'm going to put this in the inbound staging bin 04. And it says, okay, good. Now you're ready to go on to your next one. And all of that very quickly happens. And you can come back in and go back to the warehouse management role. And so let's see my reminders. Supply chain. Let me go to the right role here. I'm over here in the warehouse manager role, and so now my purchase order has been received now, and it's updated in real time. So all of that to say this, basically we can streamline and automate your processes and get you to a place where you are managing by exception, so that you can grow and scale your business. And that's pretty much it for me. I will turn the show back over to whoever's taking it next. I think Celigo.
Okay, thank you, Steve. So one quick slide here before we get into the Q&A segment of the webinar. And for those that haven't, feel free to ask questions in the questions panel, and we'll address those in just a moment. As I mentioned earlier, we do have a lot of experience working with not only just Wayfair suppliers. Obviously, no one is selling just on Wayfair. They're selling across other channels as well. Our packaged offerings, what you're seeing here, usually come in one of 2 options, starter or emerging. But we have created more custom solutions for those that are, kind of north of the small or mid-range company, right? We ultimately work with suppliers that have 2 employees, 3 employees, and only a couple $100,000 in revenue annually, all the way up to suppliers that have multiple $1 billion of revenue across a variety of channels. So what you're seeing here included in a core package offering is going to be your core ERP licensing, as that comes with the NetSuite or other ERP solutions. Generally, we're 5 or less full access users on that entry level side in a sandbox environment for development. And then most people that we do come across also want to have that Wayfair API integration built out, whether it's in replace of their existing EDI solution specifically for Wayfair, or they are a net new client to either ERP coming from a manual solution, for example, and just want that full automation journey. And as Steve highlighted, right, our goal and what you're getting here is to bring in orders touch-free from your trading partners into your ERP solution, so that automation cycle is kicking off. And like Steve mentioned, you're managing exceptions, right? So now your accounting is automatically updated, your inventory levels are decremented, and your pick list is generating. Some people, again, as Steve mentioned, do have 3PL providers. So Celigo, we can build out direct and automated integrations into your 3PL partners, or if it's going into your WMS solution, or again, like I mentioned, if you just want a pick list built and then hand that over to the warehouse. We have all types of clients and shapes and sizes, and this optional list on the right are kind of some typical things they may want to look into. So demand planning, or warehouse management automation, or if you're more on the manufacturing and assembly side, maybe work orders and assemblies, or extra users and EDI. We really touch it all. Our goal is to help you again scale, so that as you go from that mentioned $200,000 in revenue supplier and grow your e-commerce business to that $2 billion hopefully revenue supplier, you have the right solutions in place from the beginning. so that as you're growing efficiently, right? Don't throw more headcount at the solution when software is cheaper, is always how I like to say it. So that's my spiel for right now. Feel free to contact me afterwards, and I think we'll have the Q&A session now and get going there. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Calvin. I do have a couple of questions that have been submitted. What if I already have NetSuite?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So if you already have NetSuite, that's great. Chances are, we hope you implemented it effectively the first time. Makes our job a little bit easier, a little less costly. But we often work with net new implementations, minor configurations, enhancements, whatever the case may be. And if you already have NetSuite, even better, and you're just looking to maybe build out that API integration into some of your trading partners, then we can step in there too. So no problem either way.
Thank you, Calvin. I have another question. How do I know that you work with my trading partner? And what does that process look like?
That might be split between everybody here, actually.
Gene, is this a Gene question by any chance?
So the reality is we can work with any trading partners. If you're referring to specifically EDI trading partners, right, we have an entire portion of our platform dedicated to working with additional trading partners and doing all of the necessary trading partner management available. Happy to talk to you about any specific partners that you're talking about here, but yeah, we would work with any supplier or any provider that you need to.
Thank you. Here's another question. What if I use Microsoft Dynamics 365?
Beautiful. We work with Dynamics 365. Really, anything you're looking to integrate is possible. So I think that's not a deterrent at all.
Works.
Yeah, I agree. In my diagram, we saw we can connect into any backend system, regardless of what your ERP of choice is today.
Thank you. How long does a project take?
From an ERP perspective, let's say a net new wholesale distribution implementation, I think the industry average is somewhere floating around 4.5 months. But for our small business package offering, for example, with NetSuite, we're getting that done in 90 to 100 business days. So it just depends on how complicated of a supplier you are and what you're looking to implement. We feature kind of, I guess, methodologies that might help you crawl, then walk, then run. So you kind of get going with what you need first, then see what you might want to add. Everybody, once they go live, wants to add more once they start realizing the value. So it just depends on your approach and what you want to put in a phase 1 implementation.
Thank you. Gene, can you touch on a project overall, high level project?
Sure. I mean, asking how long an implementation is kind of like asking how long is a piece of string, right? It all depends, but in speaking in general, when you're talking about some relatively common use cases and patterns, for each level of transactional data you're trying to pass back and forth between two systems, typically takes anywhere between I would say 2 to 5 days for a simple one, maybe up to 10 business days, for a more complex one. So we're talking about integrating your business systems, right? That's kind of using Celigo, it's a relatively short time span, right? Where I think a lot of the the more important work, quite honestly, comes in is really working with folks, like Calvin and Steve and team, to make sure that what you're trying to integrate fits your business use case.
Thank you. I have one more question. What if I already have NetSuite?
I might add, we have John Martinez here, and he's one of our senior delivery gurus. John, what is your experience with the time it takes typically to implement WMS, warehouse management solution, for a one single location?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So WMS, again, it depends on the size, number of locations, the complexity, but is a fairly straightforward. I think that the system itself doesn't take that long. It could take as little as 30 days to get up. I think what we look at, and where I see some of what I call the long poles in the tent on a WS implementation, would be the infrastructure, right? It's important to have Wi-Fi. It's important to have network connectivity. It's important to have barcodes on your shelf. These are all the things that we think about operationally. How are you going to operate? How are you going to pick? So depending upon whether you have the equipment or not, I've seen some fairly significant delays in lead time relative to getting just a scanner these days because of the supply chain challenges. So, but the complexity in itself is, if we're well prepared, if the environment's prepared, it can be a very fast effort to get it in and to take advantage of some of these features.
Hey, I have one more question. What if I already have NetSuite?
I think that one actually came in earlier too. So.
Oh my gosh, I am so sorry.
So no problem. But just to reiterate, if you already have NetSuite, great. We work with people that have previously implemented, and we work with people that have never seen the solution. So we're happy to accommodate in any fashion here.
Perfect.
Yeah, there is. I'm sorry, I was going to answer. I saw a question come in around Castlegate. So there is we can connect. One of the critical things in integrating any kind of trading partner or any kind of manufacturer is just having the capability to do it themselves, for sure, right? This is always a two-sided coin, but Wayfair offers Castlegate APIs, so Celigo connects with Castlegate APIs. We have the ability to bring them in, the Castlegate orders in process, and this is something we do all the time. We mix and match the dropship with the Castlegate, and we make sure that all of that's automatically processed through the entire order cycle.
And John, I think I did see some extra follow-up on that question. So yes, we do and can integrate with Castlegate, and then they also asked specifically about Castlegate EU. So if you want to address that, I know the answer, but I'll let you have that one.
I believe, it's a great question. I'd actually follow up on it. Castlegate, most of the Castlegate stuff I've done is in the Canada side, but I'm pretty sure they support the Castlegate EU. But I'll double check on that and make sure we get back to you on that.
Okay, and as follow-up, there's a slight difference in the API for Castlegate EU and Wayfair EU in general. That's one of the things we work on with our Wayfair partnership, but it is compatible, and there are clients that have EU and US presence or just EU presence that take advantage of it.
Yeah, come to think of it, they do have EU. I don't know what I was thinking. Castlegate definitely has EU. It's a little bit more complex. What's nice about our integration with Castlegate, one of the features that Castlegate offers the Castlegate as well as Wayfair, generally speaking, is they've got a great integration with documentation, so getting forms. We're able to bring the forms into NetSuite so that you don't have to go out to the Wayfair portal and print the forms. So that's some of the things that they offer in their integration that we're taking advantage of.
And one more question about PIM was mentioned early on. Do you offer PIM integration?
When you say part information, integration with part, update part, is that the question?
Yeah, I think they're product information.
Product information. Yes, to the extent the trading partner supports the ability to load part number attributes, part number information. Yes, we can, we will and can integrate with that aspect of the trading partner.
And speaking from an integration perspective, we absolutely can coordinate with your PIM systems to be able to populate all your various storefronts and e-commerce sites that you work with.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Great. Any other questions?
Did you see the question on who can I contact for APIs to Wayfair? Isn't that John?
Oh, that came in the questions. Yeah, so we'll have our contact information sent out following up to this webinar, I think with also the link to this recording. So we, as part of our partnership with Celigo, will be doing some follow-up. You can reach out to really anyone listed on this panel directly, but whatever contact information you receive from FMT Consultants, our website, or through Celigo, it'll all get routed to the same people either way. So we will definitely be in touch for those that are interested.
Absolutely. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Goodbye.